going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky, got anything?
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. All right, I've got a good one. This hearing starts out completely normal. Nothing too wild about it. Nothing too interesting, to be honest. It's just your normal court hearing. Now, the defendant's sister does show up to try to help her brother get out of jail. And again, everything's normal until the very end when he starts to talk. So stay till the end because that's when this gets weird. This one is in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, let's go. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Now let's go.
All right, I think we've got Mr. Salinas will go on the record in state of Wisconsin versus Jose Salinas, 25 CM 80 appearances.
State appears by ADA Lilia Nelson.
Attorney Stan Woodard of the Public Defender's Office appearing and advise the court that Mr. Salinas has indicated he does not want a public defender, which is his right. I have no problem with that. The question is, do you want me to represent you for today's purposes, Mr. Salinas?
No, sir, I'm fine, sir.
You represent yourself, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Salinas. You understand you have the absolute constitutional right to an attorney?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you may be at a disadvantage representing yourself instead of having an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
Right. And you read and write and speak the English language?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go in school?
A year, 2 years in college.
Okay, you graduated high school or got a high school equivalency?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You said
So we'll let you represent yourself for today's purposes, Mr. Salinas. Again, if you change your mind, you still have the right to counsel. You haven't forever waived that. And if you can't hire an attorney on your own, then you should give the public defender office a call. We'll have that information provided to you with your paperwork.
Judge Hospice.
And Mr. Salinas, is 1925 Elko Lane in Madison a good place for you to get mail?
1925 Elka Lane, Madison, Wisconsin. Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you get a copy of the criminal complaint?
I have just received it.
Okay.
And
You're charged with disorderly conduct. You understand that?
I disagree with those charges, sir.
And I get that you may disagree with that, but you understand that's what the charge is. You saw that in the paperwork, right?
Yes, sir. Count one.
Okay, so I'm going to make a finding of probable cause. We'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. And then I believe there was a PSA report that recommends a signature bond. And I think we have a victim who wanted to make a statement potentially. If they are on Zoom, we would need them to unmute and just let us know who they are and what their position is on bail and bond conditions.
Hi, so Angelica Salinas, I am Jose's sister. I agree with the signature bond. I would like no contact. Specifically, I mean, I don't know how this goes, but specifically for my adult children is where my biggest concern comes in. So I don't know if that is like the block where we live. but you know, I care about my brother a lot. When he is in the right mental space, he would not harm a fly. And he has a lot of family support. And we only want good for him. I do believe that he would benefit from a psychological evaluation, because I believe he has undiagnosed mental health issues. And from my conversations with Journey Mental Health and police officers, it seems like if he does not seek that out voluntarily, then this is one way for us to create a track record. This was really hard for me to call the police on him. It wasn't the first time that he has threatened to harm me or my children. But he's my older brother and I love him and care about him. And we've been dealing with these like outbursts for years now. And so now we need to take a different approach. And so but I agree, bottom line is I agree with the signature bond. But I would like no contact with my adult children at least.
All right. That's a good sister right there. She's, you know, the one of the victims of whatever this guy did. Disorderly conduct could be a bunch of things, but they charge him with disorderly conduct. And she's there. She's like, I want him out. I just want him to have help, and hopefully he gets it. You know what? I hope he gets it too. And yeah, this is a good sister to have in your corner. But he's gonna mess that up.
All right.
All right. I shouldn't have just said he's gonna mess that up. I don't mean in the future. I mean he's about to open his mouth and just say some dumb things here in a minute. There we go. That's what I meant to say.
And just to clarify, you didn't want to have any in-person contact with him, is that correct?
If that's what, like I said, when he is in a right mental space, I am not fearful. Even when he's upset, I'm not 100% fearful, but we have a very strong, I would say, bond, sibling bond. And it's my adult children that I've like seen a switch in since they become adults. I don't know if they are, if he is perceiving them to be more threatening in nature, but I've seen a switch in how he interacts and how he talks about them. And so that is where my concern stems from.
Okay. All right. So are you fine if he has contact with you? You just want him prohibited from having contact with your adult children?
Correct.
Got it. And I thought I maybe heard something about your residence, though. You don't want him to come to your residence, but he could have contact with you out in public or on the phone or something like that.
Correct. I would still like to visit him and his dog if he allowed that and if he was in a good space and for family functions and things like that. But yeah, I would, if he could stay away from my house where my kids reside and my children, that would be great.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Salinas. And just for our court reporter's benefit, it looks like Angelica is the common spelling. Attorney Nelson, what's the state's position on bail?
The state is requesting a signature bond, conditions of no acts or threats of violence towards Angelica S. No contact with her children, may ban from the 100 block of A. Wood.
And it's actually
100 block, I'm asking for a ban from.
All right, and then if we could have Deputy Gilmore unmute. Mr. Salinas, the proposal is that you get a signature bond, so you'd get released from custody. Is there any reason that you would need to have contact with Ms. Salinas's children or be in the 100 block of A Woodview Drive?
I would also like to not have contact with Angelica Salinas or Camilo Salinas, which is my brother, because
okay, well, I don't have any authority to order other people to not have contact with you. You would need to file a restraining order if you felt there was a basis and you needed protection. The only person I have any authority here today to enter orders as conditions of your bond is you. So I'm going to adopt the request, order a signature bond, order that.
All right, here's the thing. She just agreed to let you out of jail on a signature bond, so you don't have to pay anything. Just don't have contact with her if you don't want to have contact with her. It doesn't sound like she's jumping up and down to have contact with you. She's going to allow it. She wants to, but you don't have to. You don't. Just stay away. Accept the signature bond. That's not that difficult.
That you direct no acts or threats of violence towards Angelica S. No contact, direct or indirect, with her children, and a ban from the 100 block of A Woodview Drive. I do want to caution you, though, Mr. Salinas, the 72-hour no contact is apparently still in place until January 11th at 11:33 p.m. So prior to that time, you don't want to have any contact with Ms. Salinas. If you do, that would be another criminal violation. If she's seeking to have that dropped, she would need to reach out to law enforcement to get that dropped, so there could be phone contact or contact outside of her residence before then. But if it's not dropped, don't have contact with her. So probably safest to just have no contact with her until after maybe midnight on January 11th or January 12th there. And if she reaches out to you ahead of time, then she could let you know that she's contacted law enforcement and that 72-hour no contact got dropped. I just don't want you to get a bail violation and pick up any new charges. And if there's nothing else, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.
As I promised, he's about to open his mouth. This is when things get weird. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let this play out. There's nothing I'm going to have to say after he's done talking except for wow. Wow. I can't see why. You know what? That's all I'm going to say. You guys are awesome. Please hit that like button. Until next time, bye.
Thank you.
Judge Davis,
What would you like to say?
I would like to add in my statement on the issue, sir.
On what issue?
On the issue we're having right now, in regards to the problem of abuse. And what I wanted to say was that I gave my opinion a long time ago in a matter of national security and national defense. And ever since then, the United States government and the state government and religious organizations, along with other organizations and their undercover government subjects, have been targeting me and my family. And the arresting officer in this case, 1 hour prior to Mrs. Salinas making this report, filling out this report, I was speaking to Northside Madison Police Department because I was assaulted by 2 undercover government operatives, and my brother was there to witness that statement and that testimony. And then 1 hour after I spoke to the police, Mrs. Salinas and my brother and my father, who I believe are undercover government operatives, then 1 hour afterwards, then they said that I was being abusive, but I wasn't being abusive. We were just...
Okay. So, Mr. Salinas, the truth of the facts is going to be for a separate date. I appreciate the information you provided. That's helpful. Attorney Nelson, do you have any thoughts about competency?
At this point, yeah, given the statements that were made, I would ask that the defendant be evaluated for competency.
All right. Based upon the statements, I find a basis to doubt competency, and that adds in the information provided by Ms. Salinas about the prior mental health history. Just because somebody has mental health issues doesn't mean that they're not competent. But given the statements that were provided, I have concerns about whether Mr. Salinas is going to be able to adequately represent himself or have an attorney represent himself or represent him given his position, which appears to be, I guess, his defense to this case. So I find a basis to doubt competency. There'll be a outpatient competency evaluation. And is there a good phone number that you can be reached at, Mr. Salinas, if Deputy Gilmore can unmute?
First, I want to say that I am sound of mind and
Okay. Is there a phone number you can be reached at?
No, sir.
Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you.
Next week, Rudy Garcia.